What up? This is Raidio. I'm Mike, and sitting across from me, you may have heard his sultry pipes on our recent film breakdowns that we started to do. Got here sitting Will.
Hey,
Hey,
hey, what's up? This was the big intro that you've been telling me about.
I thought about this all day. It took me all day to figure this out.
Well, this, my friend, is why you edit the videos.
This is
and
only-
I come up with the talking
You
points.
fool, this is only the beginning. Do you know what time it is? It's hot take o'clock.
Hot. Okay, so this is. Have you also been thinking about this all
A
day?
little bit. So I was
All right. So
figured out
color
the
me
first-
intrigued.
I figured out the first 5 seconds. We'll see where we go from there.
All right, what you got?
I thank God that Andrew Luck retired. I'm so happy about it.
You're a horrible
I wish
human being.
he would have retired
You're
a year ago.
You're a horrible person. Why do you think that? Why would Andrew Luck is a great guy.
He's an okay guy. I don't know. His beard, I question his beard. Little too much of the Abraham Lincoln vibe going on.
So you question his beard because yours is patchy in places.
My
Okay,
beard
go on.
is incredible, all right?
No,
it is manicured by my mother, only the finest.
It's a 5 or 6 at best.
You're
But go
a 5 or
on.
6 at best.
Expand on this bad point you're
Because
about to
game
make.
4 just got a lot easier. I would rather Jacoby Brissett slinging little quick out routes than Andrew Luck hitting T.Y. Hilton down the field for touchdown passes. I don't know about you. Oh, I'm sorry. Call me a terrible human being, but I will take that win and be a terrible human being at the same time and be able to go to sleep at night.
Just prance along, tra la la la, with you, just happy with your win.
That's exactly how
Happy
That's
with your
exactly what I do
So-
when I'm happy. I just go tra la la.
So I am a Raider fan, so the thought.
Oh, you are?
Actually, I'm not. But the thought passed my mind, and I do want to say this about Andrew Luck before we talk into the ramifications for the Raiders season, because I have some thoughts on that. But this is something that is happening for a lot of players across the league right now at this point in the year. There's a lot of guys. I mean, like over 1,000 guys are about to be cut during roster cutdowns. There's a lot of guys who are hurt, who are trying to get back, who are questioning whether they really love the game anymore. There's a lot of people, a lot of lives here that are going through some sort of adversity or struggle, and they're questioning whether they still love football because of it. So for me, listening to Andrew Luck talk about that, I mean, did you see the presser?
No. I had better things to do with my life, like not watch the press conference.
Listen, I got choked up, man, because when I liked watching Andrew Luck play, and he was arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and so that highlights this. That was my point, my preamble to everything.
May I say something?
No, let me finish
You are
my thought.
such a pussy.
Let me
I'm gonna
finish
say
my
it
thought.
anyway. You are a
I don't give a
giant
shit. I
fucking
don't give a
pussy.
shit if you think I'm a pussy. Listen, it's sad.
Andrew Luck, he was going to...
No, it's sad. It's sad that someone who has so much fun playing the game, and me as a fan, I could watch it and see it, has to come to the point that he is retiring because he would be doing the game a disservice. He wouldn't be a man of integrity if he went out there and collected a paycheck and lied to people that he still wants to do it. So all I have to say is the Andrew Luck thing, it brings a certain reality to this time of year for me, that as a fan, someone who likes to play armchair general manager and say this guy needs to be cut and this guy needs to go. These are people's lives. These are people's jobs. I hope that Andrew Luck gets healthy. I know that he'll find happiness with his life. I hope he has got a good family and a good support structure. It's a very difficult thing that he just went through.
I don't think we'd be having this conversation 5-10 years ago. I mean, all of a sudden, I think the culture around the game has changed since that Will Smith movie. No, I'm just kidding. But, people are a lot more, in all seriousness, people are more conscientious about players. Conscientious. I don't know if I said
how'd
that
you
word right.
pronounce that?
I don't know. Just roll with
Let's
it.
not even go there.
About the players and their health and their mindset. And in all my honest opinion is, again, I'm with the millennials. Like, good for him. It's his life. He deserves the right to decide when to hang up the bootstraps or not. And in this case, he did, and I hope he has a happy life. Go travel the world and have sex with your wife on every continent. Good for you.
Yeah, he made some money, so he's good.
You're good
He's gonna be set. The other 1,000 dudes who are can barely walk,
exactly,
have no health insurance.
Andrew Luck
those guys are fucked. Andrew Luck will be fine.
He sacrificed his body, but he made $100 million doing it. So yeah.
But onto the Raiders and how his retirement impacts us. The Indianapolis Colts are one of the 4 teams that we have to play first month of the year, and that's a tough month of football.
Yeah,
and that one game got a lot easier.
We've got the hardest schedule in football, and I'm sorry again, call me a terrible person, but that's one more win on the Raiders schedule that I didn't expect.
You can't pencil it in.
You can't pencil in any win.
There's this dude in my fantasy league who's a Colts fan. He thinks that they're bad now.
What a weirdo.
And I would say that with Jacoby Brissett, the Colts are a fringe wild card team still, because they have a decent defense.
Yeah, they have a good team.
Possibly a good defense. They have one of the best offensive lines in football, and they have T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, one of the best receivers in football.
Exactly. Yeah. So for me, I'm not penciling a W in there.
But it got a lot more winnable.
It got more winnable, and also on top of that, it's a better. I think that we match up better with that team without Andrew Luck.
Well, any team matches up better with that team without Andrew Luck. Honestly.
Yeah. It's just that's a silly point, but
you're silly. You're so silly.
What I'm trying to say is that without him, it's a winnable game, and I think that we can all kind of measure where the team is at the end of September a little bit better because of it.
Because we can beat a mediocre team? Is that what you're saying?
No, we're gonna possibly beat a team that, in my opinion, will be competing for a wild card. I think that because I think that talent-wise, the Raiders are possibly a wild card team.
So they're a good litmus test for where we are.
Exactly. So
do you see us as equals to the Colts right now?
No, they have a better offensive line. They have a better defense, right? We probably have the better quarterback, and the rest of everything else is up in the air.
I agree. Derek Carr is better than Andrew Luck. Next topic.
So, what I'm saying is that we match up a little bit better with them. I think that they're going to be competing for a wild card spot at the end of the year. They also have a good coach. So it's one of those things where without Andrew Luck, I think it's a winnable game now. And if we're not competitive, it's a better idea of where we're at. If we are competitive, if we win the game, it could change our entire trajectory now, where it may have not been a winnable game before. But now, if we win that game and we beat the Broncos, bare minimum, we're 500 going into October.
Yeah, and
October is hellish.
Yeah.
If we win those 2 games and then we upset the Vikings, you're talking about 3-1 going into October, and obviously the one loss we'll give to the Chiefs because the Chiefs have had our number. But we're coming for you, Andy Reid. And
coming for you like diabetes is coming for you.
Exactly. And you know what? Early in the year, when the schedule's at its best, that game is the game that the Raiders have to win. That's one of the most important games of the year. Whether you go to the playoffs or not, we cannot let the Chiefs roll over us
Here's
again.
what I'm going to say. I don't think we're going to win the Chiefs game, right?
We're going to win the Chiefs game.
Okay. Pencil in as a loss. The Vikings...
I'm writing in it with pen.
The Vikings are upsettable. Kind of like me most of the time, very upsettable. Broncos, I think we can beat the Broncos. I'll be super fucking disappointed if we don't get that first week victory, because I think we're a better team. I have no faith in Flacco.
If we don't beat the Broncos,
I will kill myself.
I won't go that far. I will
kill someone else. I'm just kidding.
Just because I have a couple of months of football before that's gonna happen. Before I start tying the rope, but. Yeah, if we don't beat the Broncos, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, I mean I'll be depressed the entire week until week 2 when we lose against the Chiefs, and then I'm expecting that I'll be a little bit more level-headed. But then week 3, I think the Vikings The Vikings is a winnable game. And I mean, now the Colts, you could be staring at 2-2 going into October, and I don't think that's terrible given the expectations on this team this season.
And considering how new of a team we have.
Yeah, you're wiping the slate clean.
Yeah, so if you can get through month 1, 500 record, and not be the best version of yourself that you could be, which we're not going to be at the end of September, that's a win.
Yeah.
That's a victory. And you're going to go into a very difficult portion of your schedule, knowing that you can compete, that you can go out there. The Colts are still going to be a good team. The Vikings, if we could beat the Vikings, that's going to be huge for our trajectory.
Well, if you're staring at 500, but a 1-1 division against your division going in October, I think that's you've got to be optimistic about that as a Raider fan. And again, where this team is and how young we are, with how many new pieces that we have, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And again, not like full potential.
But either way, major ramifications on our young team's development and trajectory because Andrew Luck retired.
Andrew Luck decided, nah, this isn't for me anymore. We're a better team for it, potentially.
Maybe, depending on how we go.
I think I could say that.
But
let's talk about Antonio Brown's helmet thing, because I know that's on everyone's mind. Get it? There's a pun in there somewhere.
You've been thinking about that all day too?
I just came up with that because that's the kind of excitement that I bring to this.
Look at you.
That's what I bring to the table.
Like Jimi Hendrix up here.
I thought you were gonna say Jimmy Neutron.
Just improvising, acid-soaked bandana, just seeing things that no one else can see.
I've got an acid-soaked thong in this case, so
that's hot.
So, ladies.
Anyway, yeah, I mean. I think that we've probably come to the point where this is the last.
Last time we should even mention it.
Yeah.
Because this is a non-issue. It has. I think we've talked about this before. It's been a non-issue, but I'm happy to see it resolved in a manner where both sides seem pretty. They both met in the middle. We're not met in the middle. You know what I mean? But they're it got resolved peacefully. Let's say. He's gonna get new fucking endorsement deals. He's gonna get paid for that. And fucking someone will make him a helmet that's super comfortable. He's probably got a little massage parlor inside the helmet with an open bar. Something super comfortable for his head.
I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat here.
Uh-oh.
All right? Yeah, just get all nice and crinkly, put it up there.
Is that an alien? Is that M. Night Shyamalan alien I just saw walk by?
That is what you saw walk by, because I'm catching.
They could have just been my dad walking naked.
Yeah, that's that too. They're not very different, but I think that the helmet thing is a complete and utter sham. It's fake news. It's Donald Trump calling out CNN level of bullshit.
Oh, did we just put on the Joe Rogan podcast? I'm confused. I think we just switched up.
Joe Rogan, train all day.
DMT, bro.
Joe Rogan all night. Yeah. So let me lay out my conspiracy
Please.
for you.
Start from the moon landing and work from there.
Okay. So, first off, the Raiders have known about Antonio Brown's helmet issue since rookie minicamp back in May. All right,
I think that's got to be on his dossier somewhere, right? Where every NFL team knows, here's this condition. And before you spend how many millions of dollars you do on any human being, you have to know every single detail about this person, right?
Drew Rosenhaus let him know about it.
Yeah.
So the Raiders were made known of his grievance, and he filed his grievance back in May, and we never heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I don't know.
Because it's not a story back then. No one gives a fuck about helmets and shit during rookie minicamp. Everyone cares about Kyler Murray and all this other type of shit.
Well, apparently he's worn the same helmet since even high school, and he there was that story where he wanted even the Raiders staff to paint over it, so he could keep the same helmet. Just put paint on it, and someone noticed.
Well, but here's the thing though. I mean, painting in helmets not they paint all the helmets.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Like that's that story.
You
That
can paint a helmet, yes.
yeah, that story is silly, and the way it's slanted is silly because it's not like someone sitting there with a fucking paintbrush trying to paint a shield on the
that's how they did that.
on the fuck. No, that's not how they fucking do it. They spray paint the color and then
Microsoft Paint.
yeah, they
idiot.
spray paint
Everything's
the color
digital
and put the
today.
goddamn decal on it, man. It's not. It would have looked just like every other helmet. Everyone's thinking of some like shoddy ass like flea market looking helmet out
Maybe
there
they
with the
got,
Raider shield on it.
Shepard Fairey or Banksy, some
But
cool street artists.
Anyway,
coming
let
into
me
it.
let me go. Let me go with my conspiracy theory here. All right.
Please continue.
So this has been a thing for a long time. We've never heard about it. All right. He comes into training camp with his with his busted ass feet. All right.
His feet are disgusting.
And we still don't fucking hear about it. All right. He goes off for treatment on his feet. Try to get a second opinion. Try to get healthy for training camp, and the Raiders support him with it. And Gruden has been supporting Antonio Brown every step of the way throughout this offseason. And then the helmet thing pops up out of nowhere. Antonio Brown's is going to retire from football if he doesn't get to wear the helmet. This has been something that's been going on since May, and we now hear about it in August. Because they tried to blow this fucking foot thing. They said he's gonna get his feet amputated. He's never gonna fucking play again. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I know. I see this team coming to yours right now.
No, it pisses me off, dude. Because the guy never said any of this stuff. He never said he's gonna retire. He filed a grievance through the channels that
he did it the right way.
Yeah, he did it the right way.
The way you're supposed
He's
to. He's
never said anything about it publicly. Mm-hmm. He's never said anything about this thing publicly. And
well, welcome to being a Raider, the fucking league's pincushion. You know, I feel like sometimes.
So it's just, but my conspiracy theory is not even that. My conspiracy theory is that somehow even the Raiders are in on this shit, and
we're getting deep dives.
I'm going deep.
Complete flat Earth.
I'm going deep.
The Earth is flat. It was never round.
Yeah, you go far enough, you'll fall off. And my opinion on it is that there's been some sort of agreement between John Gruden and Antonio Brown whether he would be in camp or not. Because but besides the whole Mayock thing, which that's a whole other, that was kind of silly to me. Mayock like trying to put Antonio Brown on blast, but I don't think that they have any problem that he's not in training camp. In fact, if you've noticed, every single day that Antonio Brown has been in training camp has been Tuesdays, the day that HBO premieres. He comes in, he raises everybody's spirit, he shows up for the cameras, they record him, and then they go on their way. Gruden doesn't seem bothered by this. The entire organization, the whole team is acting like he's going to be there week one. I think that everybody inside the organization is inside the joke. No one's worried about this. No one is worried about this.
Well, let me slightly take your tinfoil hat off you and put it on myself. I agree. Well, from the start, I thought this was a non-issue, though. After seeing Khalil get traded last season, and I was the most adamant, person, like, this isn't going to happen, and then it happened. So now it's like, to me, I always expect the unexpected. But I do believe, I think all those Hard Knocks scenes are completely constructed. Like they made Gruden and Antonio, like there's that scene where they had like, oh man, I support you. And then he said like, oh, 3-syllable word, that whole dialogue. I think that was probably a little bit pre-constructed. Like, hey, or there's an agreement, like, let's look good for the cameras. We just need to, as an organization, you want that though. Like, let's just promote positivity. This relationship's going positive. And then the next morning you hear, oh, he filed another grievance, and ESPN and all these like talking heads give you the exact opposite narrative, where it's like, well, he's super unhappy.
Yeah,
obviously.
That's not what we're seeing.
He's retiring.
That's not what we're seeing.
He hates the organization. No, yeah. I think like you and me follow the team pretty closely, and just using common sense, like everyone wants him to play. The NFL wants him to play. Antonio wants to play. The Raiders want him to play. Everyone wants him to play. So all these accusations and shit, they just, this is the off-season drama. You've got to create stories for the.
Yeah. Gruden told him, foot issue, helmet issue, whatever the fuck it is, come in once a week. Come in once a week on Tuesdays when NFL Network is here, because it's HBO day where we have the most reporters here.
Yeah.
And take questions so that your teammates don't have to.
I don't know
because if
Antonio
Brown's not there, his teammates have to answer all the questions. So he comes in once a week. He's the good teammate. He takes everything that's coming his way, so that no one else has to fucking deal with it.
Well, here's what I think. It's not just Tuesdays. It's every day. Those cameras are there 24/7. They're flies on the wall. But there is an agreement, I would say, with him and the team. Like, this is the way you have to behave on the field and on the practice field. And these are the conversations we need to have. Like, I think there's an agreement in place to where, like, listen, we're under a lot of scrutiny right now, and this is the message we need to be sending. So if he's only on the practice field on Tuesdays, or if that's the days he's coming, I think that's a little bit more of a, like, maybe, okay, that's media day or whatever, right? I don't know. Is that when
I think it's so my perception from the outside looking at, I don't know everything that's going on, but on Tuesdays we get a lot more tweets from like NFL Network with their reporters talking, like David Carr comes into camp and he's talking and shit like that. So I think that Tuesdays is when there's a full media presence at the training camp.
So maybe I think everything is structured, like it's just not happenstance. It's not just happenstance that he's there on Tuesdays. But I mean, this helmet thing's it's not a big deal. Like, you saw him, like, maybe he held out long enough to get paid for this, because now he's got like endorsement deals on his lap and stuff like that. I mean, maybe that was part of the plan. You
never know, but for the Raider fans out there who I've seen a couple of people on the forums, shout out raiderforums.com.
What up?
But a couple of people were angry or pissed off with Antonio Brown's quote unquote antics. I would say don't let what you're hearing and what you're seeing tear apart the Raiders from the inside. We've always known that it's us against the world. It's us against the league. It's us against everybody else. No one likes the Raiders, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
And now that
we're happier that way, though.
Yeah. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Fuck everyone else. That makes it better when you win.
Yeah. So I listen to what's coming out of John Gruden's mouth. John Gruden is the only person that matters, and if he's not concerned about it, and if he consistently keeps saying that Antonio Brown's going to be there for week 1, and he fully supports Antonio Brown, you should too.
We all should support him as just, Raider Nation. We should be there. But I completely expect him to be there week 1, catching 50-yard bombs from Derek, and, scoring 15 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the case too, and that's why I haven't been worried about it at all.
Same. So let me ask you. So you saw preseason week 3. I didn't see anything. Honestly, all I saw was Canada had a total Canadian field that was only 80
total
yards.
Canadian field.
80 yards because they played that stupid fucking
the last
idiot Canadian football.
Last 20 yards were collected by taxes or something like that.
Yeah, there's Mounties, standing in a line in the end zone. But so correct me if I'm wrong, but Peterman played most of the game, right? He played 2-3 quarters.
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay, what did you think of Peter? I mean, he's going to be our third string. I think we both agree on that, right? Glennon's looked a little bit better. I mean,
I don't think we're going to carry. I thought for a bit we would carry a third string. I think Nathan Peterman could have earned himself a third string job. I don't think he was ever going to beat out Glennon, but there's just way too many inaccurate passes with Peterman.
So we're gonna go with 2 quarterbacks as your prediction.
After that game, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, he there's also plays where he just blatantly does not pull the trigger. Like you can just tell. You're screaming at the screen, throw the ball. He just doesn't do
The
it.
man became a walking meme, so there's a reason why. Like, if he might be a starting quarterback in the XFL next spring. And Andrew Luck with Andrew Luck as well.
Yeah, with Andrew Luck. But no, he should not be on our team. He's not a roster worthy.
So he's getting cut. We're gonna roll into the season with two quarterbacks.
I would say so.
Okay.
I would say so. There's no reason to roster him.
How did Glennon look?
I mean, Glennon looked good. I'm not a big fan of Glennon, but
Well, who is? I mean, is there anyone out there like, yeah, Michael, besides his mom, it's like got Glennon jerseys on?
I don't know. Glennon.
He's a tall looking weirdo.
He's a serviceable backup. There's really not much else to do about it. I think that he's just way too mistake prone. I think that the game is just way above his head, and that's a lot considering he's like 6'7". So
that's saying something.
On offense, Keelan Doss made a pretty catch.
He was also like probably one of the big personalities in Hard Knocks this season.
Yeah, because he was from Oakland. I started off earlier in the preseason thinking that there was no chance that he was going to make the team. I think that there's a sliver of a chance that he makes the last wide receiver spot now.
I don't know. Well, I see him more of a special teams guy than even maybe making the receiver core. Because we're pretty deep at receiver. I mean, how many receivers are we going to carry?
Well, he could probably play special teams a lot better than some of the other guys who are competing for that spot. I think the reason why I think that he might make the spot or make that last wide receiver spot there is that he can make some pretty catches. I feel like he almost has like that wide receiver number one ceiling.
All right, that seems like a pretty crazy thing to say though about Keelan Doss.
I don't mean it that way though. What I'm trying to say is that like he's obviously got a pretty low floor because he's an undrafted guy.
Yeah.
He could be a nobody.
Yeah.
But the good plays that he makes are good plays that Marcel Aitman can't make, or they're good plays that Ryan Grant can't make. He made this really pretty sideline, like almost like back shoulder grab in the preseason game, and that impressed me a lot. So you see that kind of potential there. You're like, oh, this guy might be able to actually make plays.
He has some flashes.
Yeah, I mean he has drops. He has consistency errors. The floor is really low with him. I would probably prefer Aitman over him. Mm-hmm. But
because of the short, like the hand, who's got better hands?
Probably Aitman. I mean, Keelan Doss, he's a project. Mm-hmm. I think that in all likelihood, he's going to be cut and signed to the practice squad. But
okay, that would probably be a good, like a positive outcome for him. Then.
Yeah, we'll see him in camp next year.
Yeah,
that's if I had to guess.
Okay. I mean, yeah. Again, like I think we're deep at receiver, so I'm not gonna lose sleep at night if we practice squad or cut him. Honestly.
Yeah, you're kind of splitting hairs at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
On defense, one of the big stories of the night was Mo Hurst and PJ Hall played a lot.
Of course, yeah.
So, I mean, possibly cementing the fact that neither of them are starting, because almost none of our starters played.
See, that kind of bothers me a little bit. Like, I mean, this is your second and what Hurst was fourth round, right? Was your fifth round?
Yeah. Though Hurst is arguably one of the brightest prospects on our defense.
Yeah, I mean, but Hall also is like he could be like an elite run blocker someday. I feel like I don't know how much is like preseason rhetoric and how much like what's real or whatnot. But I really hope both those guys earn a starting spot in the line, come regular season.
The only thing that I could think of is that Ellis and Hankins are starting right now, technically.
Yeah, but they're like both like
I like Hankins a lot, but Ellis is
jelly.
I don't know. He's close to getting cut. I mean, he's making a lot of money for a nose tackle.
Yeah.
But
Again, if we cut him, I wouldn't.
a lot of people are saying that Hall might be cut. Not I can't see that at all.
Well, that's fucking stupid. That's just fucking. He was our fucking second round pick last year. You're not cutting your second round pick a year later. That just doesn't make sense to me. If you got some dude on a rookie contract, he's got time to develop. You need to get the right coaches in there. If he's not producing, then I don't know.
It's silly to me.
The
reason why it's silly to me is that
it's also like impulsive.
Yeah, defensive tackles have some of the higher bust rates of any position right next to quarterback when it comes to drafting them.
Literally, because like their bra size is massive.
Don't stop. But also at the same time, a lot of them bust. A lot of them don't produce at all early in their career. It's an old man's position. A lot of the better defensive tackles in the league are going to be older veteran players. No one comes into the league like Aaron Donald did and produces right away. Aaron Donald's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I think he was 3-4 years into his career before he started to become like a superstar.
I think Aaron Donald was almost good straight from the get-go.
Well, I mean, he was good, but when he was like, I mean, now he's arguably...
Now he's the best player in the league.
Yeah.
He's the best player in the league. I mean, but he's a Hall of Famer, and we have to stop comparing...
He's also a freak, so...
Yeah. But we have to stop comparing people to him. Mm-hmm. Usually, defensive tackles, pass rushers too, are not doing anything for like 2-3 years. And so for me, PJ Hall, he's got some development left to do, and he's got elite traits, and you can still see that even in the preseason game. I know he's doing it against a scrub, but I believe he had a sack or a forced fumble. I can't remember. I was drunk at that point in the game, but
weird, not like you.
Yeah, very very odd.
Yeah,
but he shows a get up off the snap that not many guys at his size have, and he's got an incredible amount of strength. So.
But I mean, you see the potential, right? Like, there's a ceiling there that can be reached. So you give him time.
Yeah, dude, big. It's not the end of the world that he's the third or fourth guy in our rotation.
All impulsive talk, and I don't know how much is real. Like, come first week, he might be starting. Like, maybe this is like. I
don't think he will be. But
I don't know.
I just don't think it's a big deal if he's the third or fourth guy on our rotation. All that means is that we have depth, and that when you go. When you go to
round pick from last year, like the third guy, like you don't want to see that.
But the two starters.
Trying to play devil's advocate.
I understand it, but the two starters are veterans who've played and started. I mean, it's and they've produced. Hurst and Hall do not deserve to be starting over Hankins. Hankins had a hell of a year in a bad year when no one wanted to be on the field, and he was the only guy on that defense who put his fucking earned his paycheck every week last year.
Once again, though, to play devil's advocate, how are those young guys going to get experience unless you put them in
because no defensive lineman plays most of the snaps anymore. You can't do it.
I get the rotational thing, but I mean, do you want to? I mean, is Hall ever gonna? So he probably comes off best as a run blocker, right? Is he ever gonna...
I don't even see it that way. I mean, he's a good run blocker, but he's fast.
He's just a big body in the middle. What do you? I mean, like
I think that
he's a better run blocker than he is a pass rusher
right now. But he's also got elite pass rushing upside.
That's my point though. It's like he's got to see those snaps.
He will. I think that Arden Key is a perfect example of just giving a young guy snaps because he needs them doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get better. I think that you got to put him in a position to succeed. Well, last year, none of our young guys were put in a position where they could succeed. That. So now we have a better team around them. They don't necessarily have to be thrown into the fire, and people are saying Hall's going to get cut. The fuck out of here.
Well, it's stupid to say he's gonna.
He's just gonna get time to A, catch his breath, and B, learn the game from players that have been doing it for longer than he has. You can say the same
thing for Key.
Yeah, Key is he's not going to be on the field all the time this year. Hurst isn't going to be on the field all the time this year. But you know what? Hurst produced and he did some good things last year. Well, and then there was a lot of times last year where he shouldn't have been on the field that he did bad things as well.
Well, not just football, all sports, but it's all matchup based. And if you can get players in there who are best suited for the situational sort of like plays, all the better.
I agree. We got one more guy we got to give a shout out before we move on to the next topic.
Who's that?
Fucking Keyshawn Nixon.
I don't even know who that is.
I know you don't know who it is.
I don't watch Raider games.
Fair weather fan.
I'm too busy having a life.
I saw something today where he had like some crazy ungodly PFF rating in the preseason.
Of course he does. I mean, but all that means nothing because you're playing against scrubs.
Well, he's a scrub.
Yeah.
He's better than the other scrubs.
He's one of those high-rated scrubs.
Yeah, but I really hope this guy makes the team. I'm super excited for him because we need that corner depth. I feel like it's been ages since we've had two corners healthy the entire year. You're going to go to backups.
So
you're going to go to backups, and what's his name needs to go. Nick Nelson? Is that his name?
Nick
Guy's
Nelson
a scrub.
He's awful.
Scrub. I was wrong about him.
That's a pick
I was
that
wrong. I thought. I thought he was going to be a decent player. Wrong.
That's a second wrong. That's a second year pick. I wouldn't mind seeing going. He's looked awful. In the little preseason action last year and this year that I've seen him in, he's looked awful.
Yeah. There was an interview Gruden did maybe after the game or past couple of days where he's people asked him about the AB helmet and he said, the story no one's talking about is 5 undrafted free agents might make this team. So I'm going through my head. I'm like, who's the 5 undrafted free agents that are going to make the team?
Sweating
I
at
think,
night.
I think Keyshawn Nixon's going to be one of them. I think that we're gonna have a new corner on that.
You feel confident with our corner group this year? So we got Conley.
No.
Okay, all right. But hold on. So we got Conley, we got Worley, right? How was our second? I've heard nothing about our second round pick, Mullen.
Trayvon Mullen.
Yeah, for nothing about him.
He's kind of. Well, he had an.
Is he having like a pedestrian sort of?
Well, he had an injury that kept him out of the first preseason game. I haven't heard much from him since then. I don't know if he's healthy. We'll see.
Well, you see the thing about like second round picks, and they're not first round picks and they're not like fifth round picks. You know what I mean? They're like first round picks and fifth round picks you expect to hear a lot of because it's like the extremes of the draft. And it's the guys in the middle though really need to.
I mean, a second round pick is.
I know it means something.
It's just as important as a first round pick.
No, absolutely, but they're the people you're less likely to hear something from. Yeah. But that said, like I haven't heard anything from them this year.
Yeah, I think that it might take a year of development for someone like him.
Hopefully, but I mean, I hope he has some depth.
Yeah, we have Conley, we have Worley. I think that Mullen is possibly going to end up being a better player than Worley. So it's not the end of the world if he learns a little bit, develops behind him, gets healthy, and next year we have our starting duo hopefully locked down.
Ooh, can we talk about one cut?
One cut?
Just one cut.
Who? Oh, I know.
The muscle hamster.
Can I get another beer? I'll buy you one after this.
All right, fine.
Yeah, we got it. I need a beer for this one.
Gosh.
So I'm gonna.
Wait, can we like clink to this?
Yeah, everybody hear this right here. This one goes out to Doug motherfucking Martin.
Damn, sucked all the foam out of that. To Doug Martin.
Goodbye, motherfucker.
Bye, bitch.
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you.
You've been prepping that for a while.
Yeah, all day.
Oh, for like the last year.
All day.
Like we've been waiting to have that clean for like a year, I feel.
All day.
Fuck Doug Martin. I'm sorry. Him and Reggie Nelson, my least favorite. I mean, they were my least favorite players on a shitty team last year.
Yeah, So the Doug Martin cut gave me the biggest dopamine rush. It gave me a vibe about this season. I'm now fully drinking the Kool-Aid. Now fully drinking it. I'm bathing in it.
Oh.
All right?
Man.
I inject it into my veins, all right? Just put an IV right in there with Kool-Aid.
I'm putting an astronaut helmet on with just like Kool-Aid being shot in so I can just
and the reason why is because last year players like Reggie Nelson and Doug Martin starting for the Oakland Raiders was such a humongous.
It was a sign of how much we sucked.
Yes, because you have these old guys who give you absolutely no upside,
Nada,
and no one with upside behind them to even give snaps in a
Nope.
lost season.
No, but that's the point. Is like there's people who are worse than them behind them.
Yes.
How bad are we? Exactly.
Yeah, it's like we're not going to the playoffs, so you would want to play your young dudes to get them experience.
Let me tell you something.
We don't have anybody besides Doug Martin to play.
I don't need to see AB catching balls, in practice camp on the sidelines, or Josh Jacobs splitting tackles. I need to see Doug Martin cut, and that makes me feel, we've arrived. At a higher standard than we were
We're
last year.
going to the Super Bowl.
Going to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl playoffs? Yes, I think so.
And on top of that, the two biggest snaps at running back in 2018 are now gone off the team. So my Josh Jacobs led fantasy football team is looking prime right now.
Can I tell you something?
We're looking good.
Can I tell you something? I drafted him too. I had a draft on Saturday.
You homer.
I did. Of course I did. You know what? That man is going to get up. He's got the talent. He's got the opportunity.
Yep. He's got the snaps now too.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Good fucking
Goodbye.
riddance.
Goodbye,
Doug
Marshawn
Martin.
Lynch. I love Marshawn. And goodbye, Doug Martin. I fucking hate Doug. He can go fuck himself.
Get him out of here. All right. So last topic that we should probably talk about. We're roughly a week away.
It's a pretty rough week.
Maybe less than a week. I don't know the exact date from roster cut down. So we're going from like 90 something players down to 53.
Yeah.
Surprise cuts, guys that you think are going to make the team that maybe anyone else doesn't think are going to make the team.
Honestly, I don't think there are going to be a lot of surprises this year.
Well, Doug Martin was the first big one. It just didn't
surprise.
it didn't happen on cut down day.
Not a surprise, but more like a happy
accident.
Yeah, happy accident, like me. Or like a happy reassurance. I think guys I'm just trying to think of Hard Knocks now and like who the personalities they haven't really focused a lot on like bubble guys this season other than like Doss.
I mean, if we're being honest, Hard Knocks really hasn't given us any more insight.
No.
Than anything. We really don't know what's going on inside that building.
They followed Waller the last episode, but Waller's going to make the team.
Yeah, he's our starter.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think they're gonna like Dwayne Harris just signed. Like I don't think there are gonna be a lot of surprises, honestly. I mean, I think the guys who we thought were gonna make the team are gonna make the team.
I thought Jalen Richard was gonna get cut until Doug Martin did.
I didn't. I always have faith in Richard. I love Richard.
I love him too. I love him too. I didn't understand it. We've seen nothing of him.
He's a poor man's Darren Sproles.
Do you think they've been saving him? Is that all? Because we barely see him.
And I don't know their game plan, but it's a good thing they have. You know what I mean? Because he's a smaller dude, but we've seen him. He can catch, and he's a weapon. So I hope they're saving him, and I love this. I want Richard on the team.
So just quick rundown: 2 quarterbacks, Carr, Glennon. Do you think Peterman's gonna make the team?
If I had to say no, just because
he's bad.
He's bad. He's bad at what he does.
All right, no, he's bad. Running.
That was fine.
Yeah, running back, Jacobs, Washington, Richard. Do we carry 4?
Are you surprised they took Washington over Martin so far?
Well, I don't know if you saw, but Martin was an injury settlement.
He was okay.
Yeah.
So it was like a money thing.
Well, meaning supposedly he was injured and they didn't want to wait for him to get healthy, so they were able to get out of the contract.
Okay, well,
so
Washington is like I don't know. I mean, not saying Martin's a good player, but Washington is a Martin-like player, right? Or that little the guy who invites contact sort of thing.
Well, he's very similar to Richard. I think their measurables
He's
are
not the pass catcher though, or the route runner.
Well, Richard's a little bit better catching the ball, and he's a little bit better at making people miss. Washington might be a little bit better between the tackles.
Okay, yeah.
But physically, they're very similar.
Smaller dudes.
Yeah, in terms of measurables. But do we carry a 4th guy?
I would think so.
Paul Butler had some great plays in the last preseason game. I don't know if he had this really pretty hurdle at one point. It's like, God damn, this guy's got some moves.
I don't know. Do you want to make room for more on the offense? I'm saying, do you want to make room for more offensive linemen given the
probably have to
given the questionability of it on the line? because like lots of like Cognito's out, right?
Though supposedly we don't have to reserve a spot for Cognito until
Because of the suspension.
yeah. So we don't have to really worry about carrying him until he becomes active.
Yeah, I mean, and Gabe Jackson too. So the line is super.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. After all these cut downs, there's 1,000 players in the league hitting free agency.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to be going after guards.
You can find someone who's better than probably
Yeah,
what we have.
we're definitely going to
Absolutely.
be finding somebody.
But I don't know, like if you want.
You think we cut Brandon Parker? That bum.
Brandon Marshall? You mean? Oh, Brandon Parker.
Brandon Parker, that bum. That guy can't play anything.
You were so high on him last year. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, it was. He's a bum.
Very high. You were like, I was like, I don't know about that.
He's a bum.
He's not. I mean,
Turn the page.
let's make like Metallica.
That's not.
Metallica's cover. Of,
Yeah, Bob Seger.
Bob Seger song and turn the page.
Fucking millennial.
I only know the metal song. No, I mean, I wouldn't. Again, I wouldn't lose sleep over Brandon Parker. He was our third rounder though last year, right? So that would be a terrible pick.
It already was.
Yeah.
It already is.
You can't come back from that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. The rest of the team, we don't have too many other surprises. Eric Harris might get cut after.
I like Eric.
He just got signed
but
too.
I feel like he's a Gruden grinder though.
He just got signed, but
He's a Gruden grinder.
he's been looking horrible.
Has he? Shit.
Yeah.
But I feel like Gruden's super high on him. I don't know.
Gruden's
unpredictable sometimes.
Gruden's also not he's not. He doesn't have a sterling report card when it comes to guys.
I mean, no, but that's why they brought Mike Mayock in to like say like, no, Gruden, like this dude needs to be cut.
Yeah, but Mike Mayock is procurement department. He's
true, but I mean,
Gruden.
you want him to have some kind of input.
He'll give his input. He'll give his input, but the 53 is Gruden's job.
I mean, you hired those coaches for a reason too.
Yeah. But no, I mean, other than that, I think that we're not going to have too many surprises as a team. I think that cut downs are going to be, for most teams, it's a weird time for them. For us, it's probably going to be a good time because we have a couple of holes that we have to fill depth wise.
Yeah.
You know, we need a couple of guards. You know, honestly on defense, I'm worried about our safeties. Eric Harris is looking really bad. You know, Carl Joseph and Jonathan Abram are really shaky. Like if we can get ourselves if we can get ourselves a veteran.
It's time to dust off that walker, Reggie Nelson. Come back to the team.
No, I don't. No,
Okay.
no, don't say that.
God, no,
Don't say that.
no.
Don't say that. But if we can get a veteran guy to come in at least warm the bench at the safety position, someone who was cut from another team with a little bit of starting experience, we could probably afford to add another safety because I'm not confident in that group. But you know,
That doesn't make me feel good.
other than that, it's exciting. It's exciting, man. We got a 50.
We are 14 days away from the first game against the Broncos.
Can't wait.
Neither can I.
You got anything else to say before the episode's over?
Can I say something dirty?
No.
Okay.